Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The morning sun barely peeked over the horizon when Victor's voice echoed through the ranch, filled with a panic no one had heard from him in decades. His security detail stood useless as Victor stormed from room to room, yelling his name with rising dread. Her phone sat on the nightstand, her purse still hanging from the back of her chair, and her shoes, ones she wore on routine errands, sat untouched near the front door. Victor's breath caught in his throat. Hadn't just wandered off, she had vanished. Within the hour, Victoria and Nick had rushed to the ranch, finding their father pale and trembling, packing like a caged lion. He held scarf in his hand, the one she always wore on brisk mornings. She wouldn't just leave, Victor said hoarsely. Not without her phone, not without telling me. Victoria took the scarf gently, her own eyes welling with worry. Did she have a meeting? Maybe something slipped her mind. No, Victor growled. I checked her calendar. She had a call with Chancellor Winters at noon. She wouldn't miss it. The family wasn't one to jump to conclusions, but this was different, wasn't flaky. She was disciplined, sharp, and lately cautious. Everyone knew about the threats she'd received weeks ago, those anonymous letters warning her to stay quiet about Enterprise's past misdeeds. They dismissed them then, just empty threats. Now those messages resurfaced in Victor's mind like a nightmare. Meanwhile, over at the Grand Phoenix, Summers sipped her coffee at the bar, eavesdropping on every word from the television behind her. The news was already breaking. Prominent socialite and co-chair of the foundation has been reported missing. No signs of forced entry at the ranch, and authorities have yet to issue a statement. Muttered under her breath, of course, something like this would explode. Her fingers trembled slightly. She, warned weeks ago about digging too deep into old secrets, but headstrong as ever, refused to back down. At Crimson Lights, Sharon dropped her mug. It shattered on the floor as rushed over, her mother staring blankly at the screen overhead. A smiling photo was plastered across the broadcast. Sharon whispered, I saw her just 2 days ago. She was worried, asked about protection spells. I thought she was being dramatic. Grabbed her phone. We need to check the security cams at the coffee house. Maybe she was being followed. Back at the ranch, Chancellor, now reinstated as a detective, joined Victor in study. There's no sign of a struggle, which suggests someone she knew or trusted, Chance said. The cameras on the front gate are disabled. Someone planned this. Victor's jaw tensed. Whoever did this, they'll regret it. Across town, Charles sat in her sleek condo, her feet propped up as she scrolled through texts. One from an anonymous number made her sit straight. Delivery made, she won't talk now. Stared at it for a long time, then deleted it with a shiver. She wasn't behind this, at least not directly. But she knew the corporate warfare she'd ignited with Tucker Call and the others had far-reaching consequences. Had been digging into merger details, finances, past cover-ups. People had secrets to protect. Freshly fired from spiraling in frustration, showed up at the mansion only to find Jack in a heated phone call with Victor. The look on his father's face was enough to silence him. "'Smissing," Jack said, "and I need to find out if this has anything to do with Jabot's old deals." Blinked. What? Why would it? Because people are scared, old scandals are coming back, was investigating. At Society, Chelsea clutched her glass. Adam sat across from her, stunned. She's my stepmother, I just saw her last night. Chelsea stared at him. You don't think your father had something to do with this, do you? Maybe trying to protect her and stage something. Adam shook his head. Victor would never. If anything, he's about to burn this city to the ground to get her back. And he was. The patriarch had already dispatched private investigators, surveillance drones, and security teams. Nick joined the efforts, canvassing roads near the ranch. Victoria headed to Towers to scour emails, calendar, and contact logs. She made a call to Devin Hamilton at Chancellor Winters. My mother was going to expose something buried in a merger file. I need everything she had access to. Devin hesitated. If what she found was dangerous, Victoria, it could made her a target. I don't care, she snapped. I want to know what got her kidnapped. Back in a dimly lit warehouse on the outskirts of Genoa City, stirred. Her wrists were bound, her lips dry, her head throbbing. A single bulb flickered overhead. Across from her, a masked figure sat in the shadows, unmoving. She croaked out, "Why me?" The figure said nothing, just watched. Coughed, "You think you can scare me into silence? You're wasting your time." Finally, a voice, distorted and low, answered, "You were digging, you should stopped." "I've faced worse than you," hissed, steel in her voice. Outside, rain began to fall, heavy and cold. The wind howled like a warning as Genoa City fell into fear. Word spread fast, reporters flooded the streets, residents whispered, speculation turned to panic. At Enterprises, Victoria found the file had flagged. an offshore account linked to a shell company, one used in a land acquisition project from decades ago that was quietly buried and tied, oddly enough, to Tucker Call. She called Devon again. "It's Tucker, my mother was on to him." Devon frowned. "Then he's going to have to answer for this." The city was boiling, old enemies were rising. At the GCAC snapped at a reporter, "You vultures have no shame," but even she knew when goes missing, no one is safe, not in a town where secrets are currency. As night fell, Victor stood outside, staring into the darkness, whispering to himself, "Hold on, I'm coming for you." The storm raged over Genoa City, but Victor's fury raged louder. By midnight, he had mobilized a team of elite operatives, former intelligence, ex-Navy SEALs, and even shady figures from his past who owed him favors. This wasn't just about a kidnapping. This was war. Inside Enterprises, Victoria worked through the night. Her mother's trail had led her to encrypted files buried in the database. Documents had flagged and locked. With Nate Hastings' help, they decoded them one by one. What emerged chilled them both. "These are payouts," Victoria muttered, her voice shaking, "to silence people." "From years ago," Nate added, scanning the files. "Your mother found hush money tied to international expansions, and Tucker Call's fingerprints are all over it." Victoria's eyes flared. "He's been working angles behind everyone's backs. This isn't just about business. He has leverage. He knew my mother was going to expose it. He shut her up." Meanwhile, Chance tracked a suspicious vehicle spotted leaving the ranch around the time of his disappearance. He followed a trail of traffic camera footage leading him to the industrial district near the docks. A black van parked behind an abandoned textile factory. By the time he got there, it was gone, but a discarded scarf near the dumpster confirmed his fears. Victor arrived moments later, silent, composed, his stillness more terrifying than any outburst. He stared at the scarf for a long time, then said only, "We're close." Elsewhere, Charles began to crack. Her polished exterior couldn't hide the tremble in her hands. She made a call to Tucker. "This has gone too far," she said. Tucker's voice was cool, calm. "You said you wanted control. This is how it's done." "I never agreed to hurting." "You agreed to keeping our secrets buried." "She threatened that. She forced our hand." Paced desperate. "Where is she?" "She's safe for now, as long as the stop digging." Back in the warehouse, tried to piece together the hours. Time meant nothing in the flickering dark. Her captor never revealed their face. They fed her water, nothing more. "Do you know what you've done?" she said, her voice raw. "My family will tear this city apart for me." "That's exactly what we're counting on," the masked figure replied. Suddenly the door opened. A silhouette entered, tensed, but it wasn't her rescuer. It was Tucker Call. Her heart stopped. "Tucker," she gasped. He stepped forward, unbothered. "You always were too curious for your own good." "You had me kidnapped." "No," he said smoothly. "I had you protected from yourself." "You're insane." He crouched beside her. "You were going to expose things that would destroy families, yours included. You think Victor's hands are clean." "You don't get to lecture me about integrity," she spat. Tucker smiled faintly. "No, but I do get to end this war before it starts." He stood. "You'll be returned soon, but not until I know your family has dropped this." Victor, meanwhile, was ready to strike. A hacked call placed from his burner phone led them to a marina on the edge of town. A speedboat had left 2 hours earlier. It was heading toward an isolated island on the lake, once owned by Tucker Call during his corporate days. Without hesitation, Victor launched a private helicopter. Inside with him were Nick, Chance, and 2 ex-special ops soldiers. The mission was clear: bring home, no matter the cost. As they landed, the trees below swayed like ghosts in the wind. The island was silent, eerie, but in the distance, lights flickered from an old lodge. Victor gave a single nod. They moved in. Inside the lodge, sat up as the door burst open. Her captor ran, but before he could disappear, Chance tackled him to the ground. The mask ripped away, revealing a familiar face, an ex-mercenary tied to past security contracts. Victor ignored him. He rushed to, breaking the zip ties from her wrists. She collapsed into his arms, tears mixing with fury. "I knew you'd come," she whispered. "I always will." Nick secured the lodge. Chance radioed the police. The war was ending, but not before one last blow. Back in town, was arrested leaving her condo. Had leaked a tip about her connection to Tucker's offshore shell company, sparking an immediate warrant. As she was escorted to a squad car, she muttered, "This wasn't supposed to happen." Victoria stood at towers, a file in hand, staring down at the chaos below. She had what she needed, the truth, but at what cost? Tucker, watching the fallout from a distance, knew it was over, he'd lost. They had proven once again they were untouchable. As dawn broke over Genoa City, stood at the window of the ranch, wrapped in Victor's coat, her eyes dark with fire. "I'm not going to stop," she said softly, "not now." Victor stood beside her, proud, "Then we'll face them together." Across the city, the power brokers trembled. Genoa City had survived scandals before, but this was different. This was personal, and was no longer a victim, she was a force. The panic had ended, but the reckoning was just beginning.